Hello, and thank you for joining me tonight. I go by Lune INNATE, and this video is going to touch on this concept of Reiki healing and other forms of healing as well, or other practices of healing that can go back in time and heal people and send love and all these wonderful good things through time and space, through limitless ability to help yourself specifically, but also to help other people. This is something I've touched on a few times during some distance Reiki sessions that I've done or other topics that we've talked about, but I get a lot of questions regarding this one, so I thought that would be a good time to do this, to do it completely and discuss it a little more further. If you're already a Reiki master, you already know this information. However, not everyone is, and some people are kind of getting into it, and they might not know why Reiki, well, I'm not going to say it's only Reiki. I mean, I'm sure there are a lot of other ways to do it. I'm not the kind of person that says, like, this is the way, you have to do it this way. However, through my experience of becoming a Reiki practitioner, Reiki master, Reiki teacher, etc., I've really had my life changed. I've learned some really incredible ways of helping myself and in turn being able to help other people because I can be more balanced, have my energy centered, be coming from a good place all the time, and things that may have been a challenge for me earlier in my life. What we've discussed in the past is this idea that you can send love. This is kind of where it stems from. It's the sending love deal. And I've made a video or a guided meditation about this that some of you really liked, and in it we kind of touched on the fact that not only can you send love to other people, but you can send it to yourself, and you can send it to yourself at a time when you needed it most. A lot of the times this is going to be in our childhood, because our childhood, whenever we think of it, we always get a little like, my childhood. Oh, that was tough for me. Oh, that was really wonderful. That's a beautiful memory. Oh, that really hurt. You know, like childhood stuff runs deep, and it really is what we build off of when we're forming our personality, our fears, our beliefs, our ideas, what we're open to. And that's not to say that we can't be open-minded and loving if we've had something negative happen to us in our childhood, but you know, certain things trigger stuff from our past, or we carry around this weight that we've kind of had this burden, this feeling of isolation or loneliness, or that we're not good enough, or that we're always cast out, or that we have to live up to some expectation, or whatever it is. We can benefit ourselves by projecting this energy into the past. It's a kind of out there concept for a lot of people. However, whether it's a placebo or whether it's real, whatever, however way you can look at this to accept it will benefit you. There's no wrong in this. There's no potential hazard that would come about, or there's nothing bad that can happen. So why not, if you feel like you have an issue with your childhood, or like you know there was a time where you really needed someone, why not take the time and work on yourself in that way? I do recommend, you know, I'm not trying to be biased, I do recommend seeing an energy practitioner for stuff like this. However, you know, that said, you can do it yourself, and even when you're working with an energy worker or whomever, or a therapist, or whatever you vibe with, regardless of what's going on in your sessions, how they're helping you and how you're working together and all those things, it's going to come from you. Like, this is work that you need to do. They're there to support you. An energy worker can help to stabilize the energy and create this safe space for this work to be done, and add a level of getting it done and helping with their power and their access to energy and all that stuff. But it's going to come from you. It's going to come from a place of desire to resolve something. Surely that's part of it, to benefit you now in your life at this point, and to be open to it and not cling to past trauma, negativity, anything that we feel like we want to let go of but we're still clinging to. I hope that translates okay. When you learn Reiki 2, which is one of my favorite ones. I mean, I love all of them. They've all changed my life. But Reiki 2 was really fun for me, and it really started to make a very dynamic shift in my life. You learn 3 symbols during Reiki 2, Reiki Level 2, and one of them is one that teaches us or is a key or helps us to access this ability to send Reiki distance, like a distant session. But this distance doesn't pertain to the now only, the only now, but just, maybe somewhere far away. It also pertains to time. When you're working with energy, there is no time. I know it's kind of hard for people to wrap their heads around. Not everyone's going to agree with me. I'm not trying to convince anyone. But if you're open to it, let's say, let's play with the idea that there could be no time and space when we're working in certain concepts or with certain energies or in certain dimensions, or if we have access to different things. For me, being able to send this healing to myself through my life at times that I really needed it has created so much stability in my life and so much balance and so much trust and understanding and clarity. It hasn't changed my circumstance. It didn't make everything better. It didn't change my relationship with my mother necessarily in the real sense. But at the same time, it did heavily change it because I changed. This is something that I've been discussing with a few clients recently specifically, where they feel that they're at some point in their life, and I put this on Instagram recently. They feel like they're at some point in their life where at this crossroads and they have to make this decision, like, do they stay in the relationship? Do they move? Do they take a chance on a different career? Whatever the case may be. And they're putting a lot of pressure onto trying to predict the future. Should I stay in this job? Well, I don't know what's going to happen here a year from now or even 6 months from now. So I know people who have great jobs who like within a month ended up, everything was like canned and the company was closing and like all kinds of stuff. My point being, every single decision that we make in our life, from us driving and taking a detour and running into someone or getting in a car accident, God forbid, or something along those lines, everything that we do has the potential to change our life in a drastic way. So for us to have this stress, or for them to have this stress about fretting about the future and what is it going to bring and how is everything going to play out, and I don't know what decision to make because I don't know what's best. It's more about this kind of stability, it's really this crosswords that's coming from within them. This is a time that even though everything feels like we're making this external decision, truthfully, stability will only come from within you. There is no external stability. Things change constantly in our world, constantly. Every year is different. Look at our history. History repeats itself, but at the same time, our day-to-day life is constantly changing. Taking control for your happiness, relying on you and knowing that it comes from you, and not putting the pressure on or depending on this external source to make you feel okay and make you feel stable, is where it really comes from. It's where the balance really comes from. And this stability and this ability to tap into yourself and feel grounded and feel okay and just know that within me everything is great and I'm so grateful for that. And whatever happens out here, I'm doing my best. I'm trying, but you know what? As long as everything is maintained within, it's going to be a good day. I'm going to be okay and everything is great. This ability to access yourself comes from these building blocks that we've placed through our life, or that we've stepped on, stepping stones rather, through our life, through our childhood, through these beliefs and practices and patterns and thoughts and habits. And all of this is all cumulative to where we stand right now. And if you haven't gone back to kind of look into your childhood, look into your past relationships, even if they're not childhood, look into times, your teens, your college years, your just everything, all different times, when you first became a parent, when you first moved out, when you first had a really bad relationship or a really good one, whatever the case may be, or when you've lost someone, having these steps be sturdy and be good for you and have support and feel like you're having that balance kind of continue through you would be ideal. Now, personally speaking, and I feel that this is the same for a lot of people, I didn't have that when I was growing up. I had no clue about all this stuff. I mean, I was into some kind of spiritual stuff, but had no weight on how I feel now. And, I'm not bragging. I'm not trying to brag or anything like that. But part of what I do is about balancing myself. It's about understanding myself so that I'm better able to help other people and be supportive to other people. So this work has really changed my life, especially that way. But as I've had these negative things go on in my past, or these things that I attached to, or these negative thoughts that I just kept thinking, or these kind of, I don't say evil, but like evil wishes of like, there was a time when it wasn't a wish, but I would just feel like I was cursed, and I would say it to myself in one way or another all the time, like, because this is what I've heard my grandmother say. This is what I've heard people in my life say, my father, and just this, oh, it's never enough, or it's never, it's always another day, like, but like in a negative tone, like another day, just the same, blah, 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 this always happens, this again. And that was very heavily impressioned upon me, that really stuck. Now that's personal to me. You have your own things that stuck with you, or experiences that you had. A big one for childhood is being lonely and feeling like no one understands you, like you've been kind of just cast off on this weird little island to yourself. Another one is humiliation. That's a very strong emotion, and a lot of times, even as adults or even years later, when we think about those experiences where we felt humiliated, we're right back there. That's a really clingy feeling. That's a very deep-rooted memory that when you do bring it up, you feel it. Like, you feel it right away, and your stomach feels a little sick, and you're just like, oh God, that was really horrible. So the point of what I'm trying to say is that working on your past, sending love into your past, doing these things that are good for you in this way that support you now, but are focused through learning about yourself, but like taking it back, like, where does this come from? Where did I get this thought that I've been saying every freaking day, and now my life has totally played out around this thought? Where did it come from? Who did I get this from? What's going on? Is this even mine? When did I pick this up? Those kind of things, and not to stress you out, but to help you grow. It's a big plate of work to do. It's a big area for us to work through to provide a better sense of clarity and stability and balance, etc., for us in our present lives. So what you can expect from me in the next day or so, I'm going to have a distance Reiki session where we're going to focus on sending this love or this healing energy back to you at a time when you needed it. It would be good for you to, if you're watching my videos and you're following along and watching this one, it would be good for you to think about this a little prior to this Reiki session, like knowing, like, when was a time that I feel like I could have used someone, or what area do I want to transform in my life? And we're going to kind of talk about it together through the Reiki session. And not only is this you doing the work on yourself, but you do have a Reiki practitioner helping you now. You do have someone casting the symbols for you, guiding you verbally through the process, helping you to create a visualization and some imagination techniques and things like that that will help to really bring it to life, to really sink in, let this kindness and this love and this betterment sink in. It's a really beautiful process. Again, I hope that you're into it, and I would love to help you that way, because it's helped me so very much. And I know that not everyone has access to a Reiki practitioner in their area. Not everyone has one that they vibe with. And I really want to bring this to people, and this is the main purpose of my channel, is to not only share my passions and create a sense of relaxation for people, but to genuinely help and bring this energy healing to those who might not have access, or the funds too on hand sometimes, because Reiki is expensive, like, I can put it out there, it's expensive. It's not like, buying a house or anything like that, but it's like about the cost of a massage, you could say. And also for me to be able to express myself and get to talk about things that I find, very interesting and have helped me very much. I hope that this Reiki session following in the next couple days benefits you. Again, might want to think about what area, time if you can, if you don't have the right date or whatever, I don't mean it like that, but bring yourself, if you're able to remember a time, like remember an experience that you would like to send this energy back to, that would be great. If you have a whole bunch of them, which is very likely, I know I did, try to do the session a few times then, like if you do it every day or whatever, however the schedule that you work out for yourself, but focus on one at a time if you can. I think that that usually has a bigger impact for each one. That's not to say you can't do more than one, but I find that it just is better when we have one to focus on at a time. So just something to keep in mind. Thank you as always for your love and support. I'm so very grateful. From the bottom of my heart, as always, namaste.